Hi, let's get back into Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, a Parent's Manual, and let's take a look at Chapter 4, Controlling the Chaos. So if you're just now joining us, I've been reading sections and excerpts from my book and talking about them. So structures and routines give a child stability and predictability. They thrive on this. From the time the little ones enter your life, a routine makes for a very happy baby. Later in life, you will have a more organized, well-adjusted teenager and, consequently, a productive adult. You will be happier because you will be able to better manage your time. When your child is in their formative years, creating positive habits and consistent routines will set a strong foundation for years to come. Making these positive changes will improve you and your child's life and will make for a happier and healthier family unit. So do your best to create and maintain daily routines. Bedtimes, rising times, meal times, bath times, and nap times should be on a schedule that you can follow consistently. And begin implementing structure and routine when your kids are infants or toddlers. You really cannot begin too early. Consistently meeting their basic needs is integral to their healthy development. And so I go on and continue talking about implementing these structures and routines at a infant age. And then I go in and I give an example down here about how I incorporated structure and routine into my daily life when I had young children at home. When I was home in the summer with my kids, they thrived on our daily and weekly routines. Mondays were for laundry and catching up on housework. Tuesdays and Thursdays were for swim lessons and craft time. Wednesdays were the days we visited my grandparents, and Fridays were our adventure days. My daughters knew what to expect, which gave them a sense of stability. I know things come up each day that we did not plan for, and we can't always have this perfectly structured schedule, but try to maintain predictability whenever you can throughout the day. For example, my daughter would wake up and ask, what was the plan for the day? She needed to know where we were going, at what time, and for how long. Don't we all like to know what the day has in store for us? I certainly do. I have a hard time when I am thrown off guard with a surprise change of plans. So imagine being a child that doesn't know how to regulate their feelings, and then when life throws them a curveball, yep, you're right, temper tantrum. No matter what age, temper tantrum. Then I go in and I talk about establishing some routines for some elementary school students, middle school students, and talk about some different healthy habits to create structure and routine. Now, I want to talk to you about this creating structure routine. Again, this chapter is called Controlling Chaos, Creating a Routine. So creating a routine does not have to be a militant regiment style. There can still be freedom within the day, but just having some consistent times throughout the day gives a child predictability. Kids thrive on routines, they thrive on structure, and they thrive on predictability. That is why you probably hear stories like if your kids are at school, they might be doing a really great job, but when they come home, they might have a harder time. You know, maybe that routine at school is very helpful for those kids, for your child. So making sure that you're establishing and adding in some routines into your day, some different things that give them some consistency. Now, in the back of the book, there's these great discussion questions, so we can go in and take a look at them real quick and tell me how. There's 6 questions for each chapter. And so the first question, you might want to grab a pen and paper or pause the video. The first question is, describe a time while raising your child that you felt like life was chaotic. How did you feel? And how did you control the chaos? And so that is a really great question for you to go back and reflect on and think about that. And you might even want to think about what you would do different. The second question in here is for you to have a planning session for yourself. What area of your child's life could use more structure, and how could you implement that? So sitting and reflecting and thinking about that. Maybe it's the bedtime routine that needs a little bit more structure, getting your child to wind down a little bit more, no matter what their age is. I'm not talking about young children. I'm talking about teenagers as well. How can we get them to wind down, to get to bed earlier? They require a lot of rest and, kind of that calming of your brain as well. So think about some of those things. I encourage you to join us for our parent-to-parent sessions, and I encourage you to grab my book. It is on Amazon, so you can grab it there. All right, thank you so much. I know you're going to do great on this parenting journey.